Okay, so first of all, please welcome to this seminar. And today our webinar is about questionnaire design and analysis. And today we are honored to have Dr. พลภา คทาย from the Faculty of Liberal Arts, Rajamankala University of Technology, Sriwijaya, with us today to give us knowledge about this analysis and also share her experience from her research. So please give her a warm welcome. Right, we can give her.
Right, thank you อาจารย์ประที่ว่าการอาจารย์นันทิการค่ะ Good afternoon and สวัสดีค่ะ everyone and welcome to the last session of the research upskill training webinar series. I'm Dr. พลภา คทาย from Faculty of Liberal Arts, Rajamankala University of Technology, Sriwijaya, Songkhla. And first of all, I like to express myself. I like to express that I am glad and feel honored to be here today and see all of you here today. And thank you, Language Institute of Thammasat University, for inviting me to share my experiences with you all today as well. And firstly, I like to share my PowerPoint slide. Okay, can you see it? All right. Yeah. First of all, I like to declare myself that I'm not a statistician and I'm not a pure quantitative researcher. But based on my research experiences, I could say that most of my studies have been done with a mixed method approach. So I'm quite familiar with both quantitative and qualitative data. But in this talk, I will share you my experiences of doing my research, focusing on designing a questionnaire and analyzing the data, which is the topic of the session. Anyway, again, I'm not a statistician, so if anyone here would like to share your experiences of designing a questionnaire or data analysis, or even describing more details about data analysis, please feel free to share us at the end of the talk. And this is the outline of the talk. Today, I'm going to talk about where to start designing a questionnaire, and I will show you some ideas of data analysis, including the purpose of designing a questionnaire, types of information, types of questions with some examples, and steps to developing an effective questionnaire. And I will show you some examples of data analysis of my previous studies that you may relate mine to yours as a guideline. Some of you here may struggle with how to design a questionnaire and still have no idea where to start. I like to say that the starting point could be the hardest. I will tell you why I think like that, because when I was doing my PhD thesis, I used to face the problem of choosing the items that I wanted to find out or choosing the questions that were suitable for the information desired. And there were many points that I wanted to know, and I saw that they were all very interesting. However, at the time, I almost lost my focus of the purposes of my study, and I reviewed many previous studies and theories that might relate to my research. But when I look back to what I had reviewed and talked to my supervisors, you know what happened? It was found that some papers that I had reviewed were useless, and some were not relevant to my research. At the time, I went back to my office and thought that what happened to me and what I was going to do. Then I started it again, calmed down, kept calm, started it again, and kept focusing on what I wanted to know and what I really wanted to find out based on my research purposes. So the research purposes are the most important. This made me realize that I needed to review as much literature as possible. And I also found that reviewing the questionnaire from previous studies or research could help me design my own questionnaire based on my research purposes better. So you can choose and use like one paper or a few papers that you think is the best or the most relevant to your research purpose as a guideline or as a model. So it will be easier for you to design your own questionnaire. You may feel frustrated at first. As I said earlier, the starting point could be the hardest. But once you overcome that obstacle, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. For sure, because I had overcome it before. And imagine that now you are all at the starting line. And these are what I want to talk to you and tell you that you need to consider when you decide a questionnaire. The purpose of the questionnaire is to collect or extract data from the respondents. It's a quick and effective way to collect a large amount of data. It's important to keep some key points in mind, especially the objective of your study. And this can help you seek for the key concepts of your research and help you focus better on the literature that you need to review. As Colossi stated, that there are three kinds of information that has been captured in the questionnaire, and those are knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors. The first one is knowledge. Knowledge refers to what participants understand about content, ideas, or concept. As Colossi recommended that the best way to capture this information using the questionnaire is offering the response choices that are factual in nature to measure content comprehension. The second one is attitude, which can include participant perceptions, feelings, or judgment. This is used to measure participants' views on a subject. And the last one is behavior. This can include what people do, will do, or have done in areas related to the topic. However, to capture this kind of information is quite hard if the duration of the study is short, because behavioral change requires much time to evaluate. As Colossi stated that behavioral changes illustrate the translation of knowledge and attitudinal changes to skill set and action, which can take some time to happen depending on the areas of intervention. So with this type of information, you may need to think about the purpose of your study first. Yeah, it's a priority for you to do the research is focusing on your research purpose. And then if you want to test or measure the respondents' understanding on a subject, you may need to test their knowledge. And you have to decide that based on the research purpose. And for the attitudinal, it's about perceptions, feeling, or judgment. Yes, sure. So if you want to find out their satisfaction on something, you may need the information of their attitudes. And for behavior, for this one, it requires so much time. So sometimes you have to design your methodology that is suitable for that's suitable to measure the behavioral changes, such as like you can use a mixed method approach as well. And when you have set the types of information that relates to the content area of your study, you have to think about the types of questions, because these can help you measure what you need to examine. The first one is open-ended questions, and the second one is closed-ended questions. For the open-ended questions, This type of questions allows the respondents express their opinions in their own words. There is no restriction for this type of questions. So if you use open-ended questions, you can get more information in the content that may be relevant to your research. You may have many points to talk or discuss about in your report. However, the answers take much time to read through and to code in order to identify common responses. So, because it's time consuming, you need to think about the importance or usefulness of the responses you get from the open-ended questions. Open-ended data can be useful when exploring the range of possible responses to a question or topic, especially when pilot testing a program prior to its implementation. So if you have enough time, I recommend you to do the open-ended questions to design your own questionnaire. So this one will be better because it will be suitable for your respondents or your target of your study. And the second one is closed-ended questions. There are many possible ways to structure responses to closed-ended questions, including multiple choices, agree or disagree, and Likert scale. This type of questions is predetermined and the questions are designed in the same frame of reference for all participants. Therefore, it's easy for researchers to code and analyze data because the questions promote consistency among respondents in terms of understanding both the question and responses. And the questions have been specified based on the information the researchers hoped to capture. So it will be easier for the closed-ended questions, but sometimes it's not enough. So you may mix open-ended questions with your closed-ended question as well in the questionnaire. And these are some examples of closed-ended questions. The first one, I recommend you like two option responses or dichotomous responses. This may include yes or no, agree or disagree, true or false, like this. And this is an example. You can see that I use yes or no here. My research is about awareness of plagiarism and that student understanding of plagiarism. So I asked them, as you can see here, I asked them about awareness and perceptions of plagiarism in academic writing. For this type of questions, it doesn't need if yes or no is listed first, but the questions and responses need to be consistent throughout the questionnaire. It means if you use yes, no like this, you have to do it like throughout, don't switch to no and yes, something like this. And like here, you will see that I also leave one space or some space here for the respondents in each section. So the respondents can write down if there is any point that is not included in the questionnaire. And the next one is one best answer or multiple choice questions. This is normally used to test knowledge. And like here, you can see that it's like in a testing form. And this one is the instruction. The next one is rating scale, sorry. The scale is used to ask the participants to rate each item on a response scale. The participants are asked to answer each question by rating each item on scale, such as 1 to 3, 1 to 4, or 1 to 5, and sometimes it's 1 to 7. A 5-point Likert scale is the most popular, which include strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. And this one is an example. You can see it like you can design the question in a vertical or in a column like this, or you can decide it in a form of a table as well. As Halasher 2016 suggested that when using rating scales, 4 to 7 response options are the most common because anything above 7 choices can create a cognitive burden on the respondents and lead to less reliable result. Could you please imagine that if we are the respondent and we see many items or like many choices, we just take it. For some people, they just take it without reading the questions. So you may get unreliable result. So between 4 to 7 could be okay. And when you design a questionnaire, it's also important to collect general information of the respondents or demographic data, such as age, career, gender, or educational level. The data allows the researchers to understand the participants better, and sometimes you can use this type of information to separate the respondents in groups to analyze their data in depth, which may have an impact on your research. And this is an example as well. Most importantly, when designing a questionnaire, you need to make sure that each question is clear and interpreted the same way by everyone. So it's helpful to reread your questionnaire through the respondent's eyes to see if any items are leading, unclear, or ambiguous. Too many questions can be burdensome to both participants and researchers to read, answer, and analyze data. You also need to keep in mind that each question in the questionnaire is essential information. It can be used in your research report. Like here, you see, as you see on the slide, there are 5 questions to ask the general information of the respondents. I asked them age, gender, background, highest educational level, and teaching experiences. So these informations or these responses, I will use it to analyze and write it in my report as well. If it's not necessary, just ignore it or leave it. Don't use it in your questionnaire. Remember, begin the questionnaire with an instruction that includes the questionnaires purpose and explains how the information obtained will be used and assure the respondent's confidentiality. As you can see here, I divided my cover page of the questionnaire into 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph informs the respondents the purpose of the questionnaire, and the second paragraph here informs how the data will be used. And actually, in this part, it could be better if you include the confidentiality of the respondents, such as for example, their answers will not affect their grades or their works, something like that. And like now, actually, we can use the consent form for them to sign their names. Yeah, to sign their name, like to ask their permission to collect the data or something like that as well. And this one, I conducted my research in Thai, so it's in Thai, sorry about that. But yes, the purpose of the questionnaire and how data will be used, and also include the confidentiality. And these are steps to developing an effective questionnaire suggested by Colossi 2006. First, decide what information you need to collect your program, for your program. Second, search for previous evaluative efforts on programs similar to yours to see what others may have done. And third step, draft your questions or modify questions on an existing survey to fit your own program needs. So for the first to the third step, you have to review the literature and find some papers that you can use it as a model to adjust the items in their question from the questionnaire to yours, like this, and you get the draft, but you don't use the draft, you know, because you have to reread it again and again and review much literature. Fourth, place the questions in logical order and reread the entire questionnaire and add specific instruction, transition, and any clarifying information for questions or responses in parentheses where applicable. Next, focus on the format of the questionnaire with attention to layout, readability, time demands on respondents, logic, and clarity of content. So your questionnaire, you have to think about the time as well and not too many questions. So it will be burdensome both to you as a researcher and to the respondents as well. The next step is if time allows, have a few co-workers complete the questionnaire to identify problems areas in your survey. So for this one, you can do IOC. If you want to know what IOC is, you can Google it later. Or you can ask your co-workers or your colleagues or your friends to rate it if there are any items that need to edit it or not. Okay. As like Taylor Powell suggested that pretesting the questionnaire is a very useful approach as it helps the researcher focuses on their research career and know individual questions better, that if they are suitable for the respondents, any aspect of the questionnaire suggests bias on the part of the researcher. And Taylor Powell, I will give you this paper later. Sometimes the researcher needs to adopt some questions that can screen the respondents to suit for the information that's used in the data analysis. And she called it like filter or screen questions. And these type of questions help the researcher screen it if the responses can be used for data analysis or make it clear that who should answer this question. So if you can do a pilot testing, so yeah, I recommend it to do so. Next, revise the instrument as needed based on the feedback provided. And then prepare educators on protocol for implementing the questionnaire. And then you are ready to go. It can be said that if you follow these steps, you can design an effective questionnaire. And to get more ideas and details on how to design effective questionnaire, I can recommend you a paper by Taylor Powell, 1998, on this paper clearly shows you examples in each type of questionnaires that related to information desired. And I recommended this paper here, the last one, because it's clearly shown, like it's in detail, so you can use it and adapt to yours. It will be easier, and the language used is very clear as well. So I will upload or send a link. I will send the link in the chat box later. After we have finished data collection, now it's time for data analysis. And in this talk, I will show you some of my previous research results and tell you how I did it. First of all, I would like to introduce you types of variables used to analyze data from the questionnaires. In this talk, I will mention there's only like 3 variables that have been used to measure items in the questionnaire and also used in my previous studies as well. The first one is nominal variables. Nominal variables measure simply name, group, type, classify or categorize values of variable, and they are just names. Nominal scales named, and that is all they do. So you can remember that nominal is the name, just the name, or we can call it categorized variable as well. Some examples are sex or gender, race, political party, or blood type. And the next one is ordinal variables. These variables typically used to order or rank values of variables in addition to naming the values. Ordinal scales have all the characteristics of nominal variables, but in addition, order or rank the data. Some other examples of ordinal scales are ranking, order or finish in a race or cancer state. And the last one is interval variables. The interval variable is the measurement variable that is used to define values measured along a scale. The differences between values of an interval variable are meaningful, such as test scores and temperature. So I will tell you the trick to remember this variable. For the nominal variable, you just think about the name. It's just the name and category. For ordinal variable, it's about rating scales. For example, like Likert scales is ordinal variables. And interval variables is about numbers like age, do blank or leave some space to ask them to put a number on, or test scores or temperature as well. And this is an example. So could you tell me which variable is used in each question? Okay, let's try. For the first one, nominal, ordinal, or interval. Okay, you can answer the questions. Okay, the first one is nominal, but it has been grouped in a category. The second one, see the questions and think about it. It's also nominal. It's gender, yeah, nominal. Next one, the third one, program, is nominal, yes. Next one, highest education level. Highest educational level is a category, nominal. And the last one, teaching experiences. Some of you may think, oh, maybe its rating is ordinal or nominal. This one is also nominal. So all of them here, all of the question here are nominal variables because it has been categorized in the group. And now let's try other examples. For the first one, leave some space and write down the answer. Is interval. Gender again is nominal. The next one, program, you answered the last question is nominal, yes. And how about GPA? Nominal, because it has been categorized. And for the fifth and the sixth questions, what are they? You say it's none, less, average, much. It's rating scales. So both of them are ordinal. So the importance of variables are when you use SPSS, to analyze your data, you have to clarify this variable as well, because some analysis need specific values or need specific variables. Is a condition for some analysis. Okay, next. The completed questionnaire were calculated by SPSS, or some of you may use like R R test or something else. But for me, I use SPSS to find Cronbach alpha. Yeah, for the reliability test, Cronbach alpha was programmed to test the coefficient of reliability, whether it shows internal consistency between items in the questionnaire. The acceptable Cronbach alpha should be higher than 0.6, suggested by Hinton et al. 2014. Some of you may think that, may know that Cronbach alpha should be higher than 0.7. Yes. Also, yes, also, because it depends on the theorist or the statisticians that you use, or the book that you mentioned, or you referenced, or you cited, right? Like here, I use Hinton et al. And they say 0.6 should be enough. But some of them, like some of the statisticians or some of academicians, they say it should be higher than 0.7. So it depends, yeah, on the theorist. Okay. For the last, okay, like I will tell you like my experiences of my research, like for the attitudinal questionnaire of my previous studies. It was adjusted. Before it was adjusted, Cronbach alpha is like 0.8 something, which means the questionnaire is reliable because it's higher than 0.6 and is ready to use in the main study. But when I considering item by item, it was found that Cronbach alpha of some items got lower than 0.6. So what should I do? The questionnaire was adjusted again for its suitability and to increase Cronbach alpha values. After adjusting the questionnaire, Cronbach alpha was increased to 0.9, which shows excellent reliability. And Cronbach alpha of each section in the questionnaire is higher than 0.6. After the questionnaire adjustment, I have got like 101 variables, 53 items in a 3 section. So I will show you later how to analyze Cronbach alpha for your questionnaire with SPSS, and I will show you how to download it too. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I use SPSS to analyze data gained from the questionnaire. And part 1 of my questionnaire was general information of the respondents. I used it to see the background of the participants, and every question was used in my report. To measure whether the participants can be representative of the whole population, a test of normality and SAS score were used to explore it. The test of normality was calculated to measure whether the samples were drawn from a normal distribution from a normal population. There are a number of ways to test normality, and my previous study applied the Chaperowick test, which is the most powerful tool to measure if there is a significant difference within a group of the respondents, recommended by Raffaelli and Wa 2011. Also, to explore a normal distribution, like normal distribution is in a good curve like this. Field 2018 suggested that the skewness SAS score and kurtosis SAS score should not be greater than 1.96. This was used to measure if the respondents share the same experience of understanding on a subject. And this is an example of Chaperowick test, and show Chaperowick test you can see here. It shows no statistically significant difference between the test score of students because it's higher than 0.05. And sometimes, we need to omit outliers to make data presented in a normal distribution. There, to get this data, I will show you here. First, how to calculate the skewness and kurtosis. I use this one when the test of normality or Shapiro-Wilk test here shows statistically significant difference. So if it's different, I will switch and use this one. So it depends because there are a number of ways to calculate or to analyze. So for this one, when I see that, oh, it's not in a normal curve or it's not in a normal distribution because we have outliers. So we use skewness and kurtosis. How to calculate it? Here. It's easy, right? It looks easy. Okay. Like here, the skewness test, the skewness and kurtosis test score should not be greater than 1.96. And here, you just focus on this number. Statistics divided by standard deviation. Like here, is higher than 1.96. And for the kurtosis, also the same way. Statistics divided by standard error. They got this number is higher than 1.96. So what should we do? We just omit outliers. And then you see, check it again. When we delete outliers, check the skewness and kurtosis again. Is not greater than 1.96. So you can see the normal distribution here, and you can use it for the t-test as well. Because when you use like to test some analysis, because some analysis need kind of normal distribution such as ANOVA. Okay, then I will talk about one-way ANOVA. Another example of data analysis from general information of the respondents regarding the student time of knowing and time of knowing plagiarism and that test scores. One-way ANOVA was used to explore the difference between variables. ANOVA can be used in this analysis due to no differences between variables in the test of normality. As I said earlier, one of the conditions of analyzing ANOVA, the dataset needs to perform in a normal distribution. So prior to data analysis, a test of normality was assessed using Shapiro-Wilk test, which was a powerful tool to test normality data sets. Shapiro-Wilk test showed that there were no statistical differences between the student test score and times of knowing plagiarism, which p-values were higher than 0.05, as you see here in the table, mean that the students shared a similar level of understanding of plagiarism. The results showed that there were no statistically significant differences between time of knowing plagiarism and student understanding of plagiarism as presented in the table. Therefore, this group of students may need explicit training of plagiarism avoidance, including information of the concept of plagiarism. And the second part of my questionnaire, asking about student reasons to plagiarize. This part has like 19 dichotomous questions with 2 choices as well, yes or no, asking the respondent about students' reasons for plagiarism. The respondents need to choose one answer they agree the most for each question. Moreover, each part provided space, like here, provided space at the end, allowing the respondent writing additional points which is not included in the questionnaire. And with these questions, I use descriptive statistics, such as frequency, and percentage to present the findings. Moreover, I also used ranking questions, which are about academic writing problems of students. The respondents would be asked to rank number from 1, the most, to 6, the least, in front of the list provided. If there is another point which is not shown in the questionnaire, the respondents can write in the space provided at the end of the questions. And you will see that the instructions is here. I also provide the instruction clearly in every question. Okay, and this one is the result. You can see that I asked them and then I analyze it by using the mean score, and then I see which one is the most and which one is the least. The least problem of the student is citation and referencing, whereas the most problematic writing issue of the student are summarizing from several sources in that one words. In addition, not only asking the respondent rank their writing problem, but also their suggestion to deal with plagiarism, which was presented in mean. Like mean was used to clarify which penalty that students suggest to deal with plagiarism at the university. Like when you see here on the slide, you may think that, oh, it's 10 items, but these items are the rules, are the penalty rules that included in the rules of the undergraduate students. So I put it here and to see their opinions that what should happen if a student at the university was found guilty of plagiarism. And then I found that they think verbal warning should happen the most, and expulsion from the university or removal from the university is the least. And when I get this data, I put it in the Excel to create a graph or create a graph or the figures like this. Another example in the questionnaire asking about student academic services for students about plagiarism avoidance. And this part includes 6 questions asking the respondents whether the respondents have ever received any services about plagiarism avoidance from the university or their department. And these questions were designed as a dichotomous question with yes or no, mean that the student need to choose one answer for each question. At the end of the questionnaire, again, you see, some space is provided for the respondent if they would like to express their suggestions or comments that would be useful for researcher, the university, or themselves. And this is how to analyze. I usually like the percentage here. And I use Excel to help me design a graph, a beautiful graph like this. You will see that the student receive advice in class like 70%, and they get advice from academic support service just only like 30.7%. So it's quite low. So then you can use it to interpret in your report. For the multiple choice questions, I also use yes/no questions to examine the participants' understanding of plagiarism. So I analyzed it by using descriptive statistics to find frequency, percentage, mean, and standard deviation. As you see here, frequency, mean, and standard deviation were used to describe the finding. And again, I used Excel to create the graph for me. Okay, and I divided each item in the test into categories. So when analyzing data, we could see the information we required clearly. and I used only like mean and standard deviation in my report. A pair sample test was also examined to explore if there was a statistically significant difference between the pre-test and the post-test of the student. Then the finding could indicate how the workshop affect the student understanding of plagiarism. I would say in my thesis or in my previous studies, I also provide them a crazy experiment as well and provide them the intervention, give them the pre-test and then intervention and the post-test and ask them to answer or respond in the questionnaire later. So my research here is about, we call it like embedded mixed method approach. So we can see like all the data or any perspective of the result. Like here for the past sample test, again, we used to compare mean score of the test of the student, but they are in the same group, not different group. But if you compare like different group of the student or different group of people, you may need like independent sample test. Okay, I will show you again like in the at the end of the talk with SPSS as well. Okay, and when you interpret the data, you will see here in the red box is statistically significant difference. So it means the intervention that you provided that works in this study. So the post-test is higher than pre-test, something like this. Okay. And in my previous study, I also used SPSS for the factor analysis and using Stata for structural equation modeling or SEM and a model fit as well. The factor analysis was conducted to evaluate the dimensionality of the data set of multiple indicators. In the section 3 of my the questionnaire of my research, section 3 of the questionnaire to find the smallest number of factors that could explain the correlations between factors relating plagiarism in academic context, especially in the university. And structural equation modeling allows the researcher to explore the relationships between the latent factor. The model fit was also analyzed using Stata to assess whether the variance of the model of each category fitted the data of this research. The fit indices include here root mean square error of approximation or RMSEA. So in the system, you will see this abbreviation. Standardized root mean square residual. Coefficient of determination CD. Tucker-Lewis index TLI and comparative fit index is CFI like this. And good model fit. Good models should have SRMR less than 0.08 or the RMSEA less than 0.06 with the fit index values were greater than 0.9. And this is what I have done in my research. So as I told you earlier, I used two programs. I used two statistical program, SPSS for factor analysis here on the left-hand side, and I use Stata here for the right-hand side to like create this model for me and also to test the fit index or goodness of fit. And if anyone here knows how to find correlations between factors, not between variables, please let me know or let us know in this session as well, because this number, as I show you here, I got this number, the correlation from the data, from this model. So I know that, okay, this number, this factor related to each other, how to relate to each other like this. And when we got the factor, we have to label it based on the questions that are grouped in that factor. Like here, R1, I name it R1 as intention to plagiarize because they are all about intention to plagiarize. And for the second one, R2 is about individual plagiarism control. I name it based on the theory that I used in my research because it's about themselves, it's about the student themselves. And the context, R3 is about context. It's all about the environment. Like plagiarism is not seen as wrong. So it's about like how other people feel or how other people think about this subject. And R4 is about lack of confidence in their academic writing because these three questions are about their problems of writing. Something like that, like here. And as you see from the fit index values, you will see that the numbers shows a good model fit as these numbers are in the condition here. Okay. And I will show you how to calculate or how to analyze these factor analysis, like here, how to find the factor. Because I want to show you here because based on my experiences of supervising my students, I found that many of them think that they can group the factor by themselves by reading the books or reviewing the literature, and they group it themselves. But actually, for doing research, you can use statistics to group it because some items that they think is suitable for this factor is not suitable at all. So you can use factor analysis to group it for you, and you can find or you can confirm it as well. Okay. And I will show you, if you don't have SPSS, you can download it. You can download it here. Type SPSS, but not any SPSS, IBM. Okay, because some people, okay, click here, no, it's IBM, this one. And you don't need to pay for it if you don't want to. You can just trial. Here, trial version and fill the form here. Create account, and then IBM will allow you to use this program for about 30 days. Or if you want to use it again, you just leave some time and start or create a new account. Because I also do it. I also do it too. Yes, it's a trick. Okay, now I will show you from Normality Test. Okay. As you see here, this is an example of my data analysis. When you get the questionnaire and you can put it like here, this one I will show you how to find out normality test. You put your score here like this. Let me show you here. Pre-test and post-test. Pre-test here, and you put the number on. Add the number here. Okay, analyze. You can use descriptive statistics first to find the normality of the test. Explore. And pretest score. For the normality test, you have to use pretest. Yeah, because it's the starting point. Descriptive. Okay, 95. Continue. Plot. Click here. Normality plots with text. Continue. For the option, just leave it there. And click OK. Then the program will calculate it for you. And as you see here on the screen, you see, test of normality here, you will see that there is no statistical no different in Chaperovic test or test of normality. But if it shows significant difference here, you can use skewness or kurtosis instead. Calculate it again by dividing this number and this number. No greater than 1.96. Remember that. And again, if you want to find out the sample test, like pair sample test, you get the score of the pre-test and the post-test. You use compare mean here. And pair sample t-test, because you use the same group of students. And choose pre-test here and post-test score here. Click OK. And then you will get these numbers. You can see the significant difference here is less than 0.06. Sorry, 0.05. So it's significantly different between the pre-test and the post-test. And here you can create the table by yourself. You don't need to use every number here. Okay. Next, I will show you how to find the factor analysis. So for factor analysis, we need a skill. So this one that that's why I told you, I informed you about the variables, because it's important here. If you choose, like for example, choose nominal here, it will not calculate for you. So choose the scale for this one. It's rating scale for the variable. In the variable view, you can see here, it's a value level. So 1 means this the grade, 2 means the grade, and 3 totally a grade. And if you have other values, you just click here and add it on. Analyze. I forgot about Conrad alpha. Okay, I will show you Conrad alpha first. Analyze and then scale. Because before you collect your data, you have to find Conrad alpha first to see it's reliable or to see the reliability of the questionnaire. Analyze, scale, reliability analysis, and then choose all the questions that you need to find out in your questionnaire. Put it here. Select item, scale if item deleted. Correlation and covariance here means. And continue. Okay. For Conrad alpha, you can see the table here. Conrad alpha is higher than 0.9, you see, 0.941 is higher than 0.6, so it's excellent reliability. Yeah, for the reliability test. And for the factor analysis, it's quite complicated because you have to rerun your data again and again. Let's say it. Analyze. Choose dimension reduction. Factor. See again. Analyze. Dimension reduction. Factor. And choose all the questions that you want to find the factors for them. There are 32 items here. Now, click Descriptive. Click Unvariate Descriptive, Initial Solution, Coefficient, and the most important here, KMO, and Barrett test of sphericity. KMO here, covariance matrix. Continue. For the extraction, you choose principal components here because it's the most popular. And based on eigenvalues greater than 1, so it's very important to find the factor analysis. You have to extract the data, just only the ones or those who have eigenvalues greater than 1. And this one is initial number, just leave it there. Continue. Rotation. Click Varimax. Rotated solution and maximum iteration iterations for convergence. This one is the number round, is a round of rotation. So you can put like 99, so they can rotate again and again to find the factors for us. Continue. Then scores. You can click here to save as variables. So it will show you in the data view that you have saved these variables. You can click here. Yes. Continue. Option. Click sorted by size. Suppress small coefficient. And for this one, absolute value below its initial value is 0.1, but this one is about a correlation between variables. So you can put 0.5, because if it's closer to 1, it means the correlation between variables is good. But if it's less than 0.5, maybe factor analysis is not needed. Continue and click OK. And then you will see many tables here, but only a few tables that you need to see for your report. The first one is here, KMO. KMO means Kaiser-Meyer-Oakland measure of sampling adequacy. So if this number closer to 1 is good. So this one is 0.885, which means it's good. And each factor different. And for this table, you will see that there are 7 components or 7 factors that have eigenvalues greater than 1. So you can focus just only these 7 factors. Next. This one. rotated component matrix. So you will see that here there are 7 factors or 7 components with the questions or the variables here is group, you see, is in a group already, but you can't use it because you see it's here. Some variables have the blank space. The blank space mean it doesn't mean that it's not correlated to other or any factors, but it's less than the correlation number is less than 0.5. So what should we do? Delete it. Rerun this analysis again. If we find the blank space like this, we run it again. Let's say listening for main idea and academic words. Okay. Go to dimension reduction again, factor, academic words. Remove academic words and listening for main idea. And see. Okay, KMO 0.880, so it's still good. 7 factor is still there. And let's say rotated component matrix. Are there any living space? It's here, graph description. Graph description and listening and summarizing. Graph description and listening and summarizing. So what should we do? Run it again. Yeah, so then we run it again and again until no living space. And this is all for factor analysis. Okay, and this is all for the talk today. And if anyone have any questions, or if anyone would like to share your experiences of your designing a questionnaire or data analysis, please share with us. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you for your attention.
And if you have any question, you can type down in the chat box and we will help you delivering the question to Ajahn Palapa. Or if you would like to turn on your microphone and video and have a chat with us, that would be great.
Well, while we are waiting for some questions, maybe they're typing things, but
Yes.
What do we have? Oh, we do have an evaluation form. Am I right? Yes. So well, soon we will send you the link to the evaluation form. And if you would like to, well, even though just to help us out, it will be great if you can fill the form. But if you really like to get the certificate of attendance today, feel free to click that link, and at the end there will be a part where we ask you if you want a certificate or not, and then you can fill out the information. I think the link will be here soon. Ooh, I have one question already from our Ajahn Monthonนะคะ Did you see that คะ Ajahn Lui? If the data is not big enough and the data is not random, can we still use the ANOVA or factor analysis?
So the first one is for ANOVA, we can't use it because it's a condition for this analysis that the data need to be in nominal distribution. So for the first question. And for the second question is about factor analysis. If it's not big enough, we cannot run. Actually, like in the system, they cannot run it by itself. So the data should have like more than 100, because I have used some data like 40 or 50 participants, but it cannot run because in some theories or in some books, they say the data should higher than the variables like 2 or 3 times. Maybe in some books, they say it should be higher than 100 or 500. But some books say 55 respondents should be enough. So it depends. So what I can recommend you is run it first. If it can run, so it works.
So do you,
but I tried myself, but it doesn't work.
Do you have any suggestion for our students who may have smaller groups of participants then? Any kind of analysis that might be interesting to see?
Yeah, I can recommend that you can use some students or some academics may think that descriptive data or descriptive analysis is not important, but actually it's important. As you see on my slide, there are lots of descriptive data or descriptive analysis, but you can add it by using another like data, something like open-ended data to support. That's why I leave some space in each point or in each question. And also I leave some spaces at the end of the questionnaire as well. So just ask them if you have any questions or if you have any comments, just let me know, because we can use it in our data analysis and it's very useful. So maybe you have to like let them know politely that, okay, could you please write it down for us or something, or just ask them some questions that they can specify more or explain more about the questions or the answers that they provided to us. Yes, maybe you can use, as I say, like mixed method approach as well is very useful. You can use descriptive data analysis, descriptive analysis with qualitative data, like from the short answer, from interview. Yeah, it's really good.
Right, just quantifying them, that would be very useful data. Right,
yes.
Thank you. And right now, I think we've got some questions. Maybe could our co-host help with the questions?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Wake up. It's a Q&A time, so send us questions. So the Kun Nathapon sent some questions here. I've been commenting that the action verb used in the research objectives restricted to particular statistic analysis. Do you have any questions about this?
I can say that if you use action verb, like the action verb can guide you how to find the data, how to find out the data. So if you use the words like to examine students' awareness or understanding of plagiarism or something like this, to examine, how examine. So maybe you have to explain it in detail in methodology section. Not, yes, as I say, explain it more in methodology section, because sometimes use the action verb in research question is not enough. Yeah.
Right. And we've got some more questions.
One more, I guess. Kun Soka. Okay, well, thank you, Ajahn. Thank you very much. But he has a question here too, that To design questionnaires, should we adapt the questions from the previous researchers or develop our own?
I can say based on my research, based on my own research, I used the previous studies as a model. Based as a model, and then don't copy it, but you can adapt and adjust them, not only with from one paper, but many papers, and adapt it to your own. It will be easier for you, because if you create your own, you may lose your focus, or it's quite hard and it's time consuming, and your brain is gonna explode as well. Yeah.
Right. I also agree with you on this. Also, in the sense that in the language learning and teaching area, and also in applied linguistics, we still lack of the consensus, in the sense that we don't have enough information to support. But like if you use the previous study questionnaire, like yours, it can be another brick to support the data, so we can come closer to the consensus about a lot of phenomenon. So
Yes.
I think it's very important for us to build from previous study too. Yeah,
Yes.
I certainly agree with you. And right, I think we got some time for some more questions. I think we got one more question that asked quite early on. Right. Let me
From
see.
Kun Watanasa, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So he asked, actually, in reality or as new researcher, does it need to do all steps presented or any short steps? So do we need to follow all of the steps that you show?
It's not necessary. It's not necessary. As I told you earlier, you can choose just only some steps that apply to yours, like IOC. Sometimes you don't need to do Cronbrock alpha, but in some papers that I have seen in some papers, because I reviewed many papers as well, and they used only IOC form. So to see like your questionnaire is suitable or congruent with your research purpose or not, and that's it. So there are many ways that you can use. If you can test normality, if you can analyze the normality test, you have to do it. Why you have to do it? Because it will help your research look like wow or better or something. Oh, you have statistics to support your data or something like this.
Right.
Yeah, so you can choose like the best approach or the best step, that the best thing that is suit you the most in a limited time as well. Because I have heard that most of you here are master students, right? And you have some, yeah, most of you have limited time, like 2 years.
Not even 2 years. Like some of our students will have around 3 to 4 months to finish their independent study. And for our thesis students, for MA thesis, we only have 1 year to finish everything from the start till the end. But for the PhD, the PhD students got a little bit more time, but I'm sure they will not spend the entire 2 years doing the analysis. Otherwise, their brain might be exploded, like you said.
Yeah. So the most important, I can recommend you that if you get the research purpose and follow your research purpose, you will see and imagine what you have got at the end. So it will be easier to bring you there. Yeah, because like in my based on my experiences, because I finished my PhD in 2 years and a half. Yeah, in 2 years and a half for the research section. So I planned everything and decide everything, like to design my questionnaire. I reviewed many literatures. As I told you earlier, I lost at first. And my supervisor asked me to read about like action research, because I just focused on action research because I do quasi experiment. But when I read it and she asked me, okay, what did you get about it? And I said, okay, it's not relevant to my research. And then I know that, okay, I have to keep calm and focus and start again, and then plan everything, like see, you have to think about the result or the contribution at the end as well. If you see your contribution at the end, so you can go there without any distraction.
Right. Thank you very much, Ka. And so for now, I would like to thank Ajahn Llopha for your contribution, for your sharing your knowledge and also your experience today. And just for the evaluation form will be in the chat. The link to the evaluation form is already in the chat box. And if you would like to receive a certificate for the attendance, please fill in the evaluation form, and there will be a section where you can state whether you would like the certification. And one announcement for the LITU students: if you are in MA ELT, MA SEEC, and also PhD in ELT for LITU, we have SPSS workshop on the 2nd and the 9th of April next month, so next week. So sorry, this is only for the our students, because there will be student workshop. It will go a little bit in a slower pace than today, and it will be step by step and hands-on. So I would, if you would like to see how some of the analysis that Ajahn Llopha showed you today, and if you would like to have some hands-on experience, then you can attend the workshop run by me next week, and also the other week too. And there'll be 2 sessions. And as Ajahn Llopha has just shown you, you can download. Pardon?
Yes, I forget to share you some documents that I about the questionnaire design.
Right. The Taylor ones.
Taylor, yes.
And also it would be great if you can leave us your email maybe, because I got a comment asking if we can get your contacts for like further questions or advice. So
all right.
So
that's right.
While we are waiting for the information from Dr. Llopha, a quick announcement. Well, this is the end of like webinar series for research upskills. Research upskill series, but we actually will have 2 more events in the summer, probably in May. Right?
One at the end of May and another one probably in June.
Around that time. What is the topic for the first one?
The one in May is going to be a forum which international colleagues and our LITU colleagues will share their experience about the master students' experience in language learning and teaching area. And we will have some speakers. There will be speakers from LITU as well as some speakers from the United Kingdom. And what about the one in June?
And then we have another one, which is on virtual reality, actually. It is enhancing medical students' English communicative skills in a 3D virtual world. That would be the topic. But basically, this lecturer, she's from University of Taipei, but she did, teach medical students English through the use of virtual reality. So she will, give us a talk about that.
That's very interesting indeed. So Ajahn Llopha has already shared.
Yes, I have already shared the papers or the documents in the chat box and also my email.
Right. So we will leave some time for the attendees to download and also copy the link to the papers. And so,
take photos, shall we?
yes, please.
And also, so for the 2 more webinars coming up in summer, just, you know, keep updated with us on Facebook as usual.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, and then the video of this, the recording of today's talk will be on YouTube as well. So subscribe, click the bell icon or whatever if you would like
Click
to.
notification.
Okay, but let's take photos, Naka. So if you want to, please turn on your camera one more time. Okay, let's wait for a bit.
Right. We got the before and after statistics session picture.
I will take a couple just in case. Okay, ready Naka for the first round. Okay, ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. มีไหมเอ่ยหน้า2ไม่ยังเอาทำมี
เริ่มมีแล้วค่ะ
One more time. 1, 2, 3. ขออีกรอบนึงค่ะ last time sorry there are many pages so 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you, Naka. And please don't forget to fill in the evaluation form for us. Thank you for today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Another thank you to our TA who helped us co-hosting today, and everyone who's here.
Everyone is see you in summer, right? See you again in summer, right?
Thank you. We've got a lot of thank you notes, thank you comments in the chat box for our speaker นะคะแทนทุกคนด้วย
ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you very much.
เดี๋ยวส่งรูปให้อาจารย์หลุยทางไล
ได้
น์
ค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, and the photo of today's session will be on my Facebook too.
Follow อาจารย์หลุย on Facebook if you want to get some
The pictures.
วิธีการหา follower ใหม่
หาตามคอนเฟรนซ์ หาตามเวบินาร์
Follow us, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter if you have one.
Right. Okay. Thank you น้องหลุยนะครับ Thank you
ค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ
น้องๆ and thank you all the audience, everyone, students and teachers and friends and network as well นะครับ see you later. Thank you so much.
See you. All right. Shall we
leave
all right
ได้ค่ะ
โอเคค่ะ ขอบคุณนะคะ
Thank you very much
ค่ะ
ค่ะ Thank you
ขอบ
very
คุณค่ะ
much
Thank you.
Thank you very much
ทุกคน
The host will be here
ผมก็กด stop record
Okay right I will